It is so easy as artists to go to Instagram, go to any sort of social media, and to see other artists that we love and to see that sold writing across the painting, or maybe they have written it in the caption. And we're like, God, why am I not selling my art on Instagram? So today I'm here to tell you that not every artist who has got sold written or is sharing with their followers that they've sold their art, not all of us, because I do it too, not all of us have sold that piece of art from Instagram. Now, Instagram is a great way to sell your art, or Facebook. I still remember my first sales. Well, my first sales once I understood social media. My first sales, like they were coming in hot from social media, but it's really easy to get stuck in that idea that you can only sell your art on Instagram. So that is what this week's Honest Art podcast is about. It's about telling you all of these other ways that you can really move some art without having to put all of our eggs in that social media basket. So, are you ready to get started? Let's get messy. Okay, so before I get started, I want to tell you, I'm going to list several things here that have been incredibly successful for me and for some other artists. I'm going to share a lot of those stories with you, but it can be really easy to get overwhelmed by it. So don't do that. I want you to listen to these, but I want you to just keep in mind, pick 2 or 3. Let's say 3, okay? Pick 2 or 3 that you can focus on in your business. Now, when I say to focus on, I'm saying pick 2 or 3 once, every 6 months, a year, because you don't want to just do it one time and be like, oh, it didn't work. No, of course it didn't. You want to stick with a few things and stay consistent. All right. Okay. The first one is a little contradictory, and that is social media. I know I just said, don't put all your eggs in the Instagram or social media basket, but hear me out. There's a reason for this. So I do sell a lot of art through social media, right? But it's because there are ways to do this. And one of the things is you don't want to just post painting after painting after painting. You don't want to just sell. I mean, I know you're going to feel like it's so salesy, because it is so salesy. The key to separating yourself from other artists and to separating yourself from other art that may even be similar to yours is to letting people see who you are as an artist and really what makes you tick. I know you're hearing me say it all the time, and you're going to roll your eyes, your why. Get down to why you paint. What is it does for you? And share some of those things on social media, because that is what is going to endear our collectors to us. And before you say, listen, the only people that follow me are artists, guess who likes art? Come on. I sell a lot of art. It's people are like, well, only artists follow me. Don't artists have money? Don't buy into that whole starving artist thing. Just because it's an artist doesn't mean they're not going to buy your art. Happens for me all the time. But there's a way to do it, okay? Don't just be salesy, painting after painting. Let them see you. All right. The next one, and I just said you're going to roll your eyes. You're going to roll your eyes. Don't roll your eyes at me. The next one is commissions. See, I just saw you. You just rolled your eyes at me. It's because a lot of artists don't like doing commissions. I have to say, I'm probably a little bit more in that camp. But a lot of artists really do like doing commissions. And why? It's because they make bank. It's like their bread and butter is commissions. But they have figured out a way to do it that feels fun, right? Or it doesn't feel like such a heavy weight. And the reason is usually we don't like doing commissions because we're artists. We like choosing the colors. We like choosing the composition. We like deciding what the hell we're going to paint in the first place, right? But when we work with somebody else, they very often have quite a bit of input, right? So there's a way to work around that. For me, I draw up a simple commission contract. You can put this in an email. You can make it, whatever it works for you. But I always allow the collector to have at least 2 edits. Well, actually, not at least, only 2 edits to the painting. And I do agree to share the process as I go. But make commissions work for you. And if you find that you've got people that are trying to give you more and more input than you're comfortable with, then you just got to set your own boundaries. But don't just think because you did a commission once and you didn't like it that it's not for you, because people make so much money. Think about, okay, what did I not like about that? And how can I change it for the next time? The next one is you can host in-person or online workshops teaching people about your art or teaching people about how you paint. And before you say, oh, I don't know enough, I've only been painting a couple of years, I wouldn't know how to host a workshop, I don't know any of that. I feel you. I was once you, not that long ago. So here's what I did, and I hope this is going to help you too. What I did is, we all have those friends that look at us and we're painting, and maybe they're doing a job that they really don't like. And they're just like, oh, I wish I could paint. This is your in to say, well, why don't you come to my studio and I'll teach you some things, right? And before you say, I don't have a studio, I have my kitchen table, bring him to your kitchen table. That's going to make it even more approachable for them, right? This is a way for you to just kind of, get your feet wet and to see what it is. You're going to be surprised at how much you actually know. And when you have that one friend or that one person that decides to come to your creative space, before they get there, decide for yourself, what is the one thing that I want them to leave with? Like, what's one big takeaway from our session together? Because usually, they'll come for an hour or 2 hours. It's not like you can teach them everything you've ever learned. But by the time they leave, they, I guarantee, are going to leave so happy because you've just done something creative that just, that does so much with our brain chemistry. It's going to make them feel so good. And when they leave, you're going to learn so much more about what you know and what you like to teach. And then you're going to get 2 people to come, right? For me, it was a mother, and she wanted to bring her daughter. Her daughter was in for the holidays, and she's like, hey, we've always talked about doing this together. Would you mind teaching us? All right, so now we've gone from 1, and then we go to 2, and you just go from there, and you learn so much. And so many people find that they love sharing this passion with other people. Now, I want to caution you on one thing. What's going to happen is you're going to have those people, and they're going to say, well, let me pay you. And you're going to go, oh, no. Let people pay you. Because what happens is when you don't do that, you cut off an energetic stream of money. And we want to open up our energy to money, right? We want to open up that channel to let money flow to us. That's the same for paintings. How many of you have given away paintings? I know I did it too. Or people want to buy your painting. You're like, oh, just give me half. We don't want to do that. We want to own our worth around our paintings, and we want to own our worth when we are teaching, because what we have to add to the world is super, super valuable. Okay, the next one that I've had a lot of success with, I've helped a lot of artists have a lot of success with making income, making that bank, and that is through art fairs. Now, there's a lot of different types of art fairs out there. Everything from a county art fair, right? And there could be a cow in the background. It's totally fine. All the way to like Art Basel, right? And everything in between. But there's a few really great things about art fairs. Number one, you get your art seen by people who never would have known about you before. Like, you're totally breaking away from that friends and family and acquaintance, and now you're exposing your art, you're exposing yourself to a much broader audience. And there's really, there's so much value in that. But the other thing is that I have seen artists really make a lot of money by doing this because of this one thing that I suggest. And the one thing that can make so much difference between having 0 sales from an art fair and having multiple sales at an art fair is to be able to offer items at various price points. Okay, so imagine this. You've got somebody that is coming to the art fair. You have spent all this time setting up your booth. Your paintings range from, maybe $500 to several $1,000s and maybe even more. But these people come into your booth and they're like, holy shit, I love this artist's work. Can you imagine? And the woman turns to her partner and she's like, oh my gosh, look at this. We're building a house, or we've got the nursery coming, or we've got whatever it might be. But on that day, they weren't ready to spend thousands of dollars, but they definitely want to walk away with something of yours for when they are ready, right? So be able to offer them prints. If you were able to do giclées ahead of time, offer some of your paintings as giclées. Offer some original fine art as well. Don't just do giclées, but you can offer giclées. You can create postcards. You can do all kinds of various price points of things so that somebody can walk away with something amazing of yours. Now, I want to caution you, some of the higher end art fairs will have rules around what you can offer, what you can have. So read the room, right? Art Basel is not going to want you to offer totes. Okay. You're going to have to keep it elevated if that's the show. But regardless, you can offer various price points so that people can walk away with something of yours that is fabulous. All right. The next thing is, when you're thinking about selling art, we often think about, we paint a painting and we sell that painting. We paint a painting and we sell that painting. But I want you to think about this in terms of creating a collection. So there's something really dynamic about when you create a collection. There's either a theme around it, like let's say, it's like a history of the last year or something like that. Or like an artist that I worked with a couple of years ago in Studio Elite, she wanted to create a collection of paintings to be able to sell during the holidays. Okay. So she didn't have a website. She had a very small social media following. So she's like, well, what do you mean releasing a collection? Well, here's what we did. So she used Artwork Archive. If you're not familiar with Artwork Archive, it is an inventory management system. You go to artworkarchive.com, but it's so much more than that, because it can also turn into an outward-facing website, so your collectors can see all of your paintings, right? So you can create this collection from Artwork Archive. By the way, I've been using Artwork Archive for a million years. If you go to Artwork Archive, you're like, holy shit, I've got to get on this. Go to artworkarchive.com/JK, my initials, because you'll get 20% off. All right. But here's what happened with this artist. It was so exciting. So she decided she was going to release a collection. Step 1, put a date on the calendar. Okay. Don't choose Black Friday. Too much noise, right? So, but choose a date. For her, it was the holidays. So, some sort of arbitrary date. Sometimes I use 11/11 because I'm a numbers girly, but whatever you want to do, choose a date. Then back into that date and create your art, right? And as you're creating your art, think about what the name of that collection is going to be, what it's going to be, and then start talking about it when you're creating it. If you have an email list, I'm going to be talking about that a little bit more in a minute, but if you have an email list, let everybody on your email list know that you are creating this collection. Start creating this buzz. Start creating this excitement around it, because you don't want to release a collection on December 20th, or you got to let people know way in advance, because people are planning. So here's what happened with this particular artist. She did all this. She was talking about it on email. She was talking about it on social media. And she said to me, Jody, I just feel like I'm talking about it too much. And I'm like, listen, if you are not so sick of yourself from promoting this collection, you absolutely have not promoted enough. Okay. So promote the shit out of this collection. So what happened with her, she chose a date. On this particular date, she released it to her email list first. and she sold 20 paintings in less than 24 hours because she had done all of this work around this collection. So don't sleep on releasing a collection, but also don't think that you can you want to release a collection on Valentine's Day and you're going to tell people about it February 10th. It's not going to work. You got to back into that. All right. Okay. I've got 2 more things for you and then we're going to wrap it up. But the next thing is licensing. Have you thought about licensing? I know so many of us don't think really about licensing until we've done this for a really long time, but you don't have to wait a really long time for licensing. You can get your art on products like, definitely phone cases and scarves and things like that. But I've even worked with shoe companies. You can work with bag companies. I did some licensing where I had my painting on a swimsuit that was in the Tokyo Olympics. That was just amazing. But you can do a lot of work with getting your art on products if you just reach out to the company, or you can reach out to a licensing expert, right? And try to help facilitate that for you. But it's really exciting. Can you imagine your paintings, say on a rug or on a jacket or on curtains or on pillows or on plates or whatever it might be, right? Sounds like it could be so much fun, and it's also a little bit more of a passive income. You still have to be engaged in the marketing, but it's definitely more of a passive income. All right. Now, lastly, I told you I was going to come back to this. Really start an email list. This is so, so important. And before you say, I have 3 people, I have 3 friends and my dog that I can put on my email list. I know you know more people than that. Start with a holiday list, right? Or maybe you're a part of an organization in your community, or maybe a church or a synagogue, or whatever it might be, some sort of organization, and see if those people would like to be a part of your list. And the pushback that I get all the time from artists is nobody wants an email from me. I don't even want any more emails in my inbox. So I know nobody is going to want an email from me. That is just a bunch of BS. And you know why? Because you are a motherfucking artist. You are inherently interesting because you are doing the damn thing. You are doing the thing that everybody wishes they could do. And before you're like, but I'm not making that much money, I'm not selling that many paintings, that's what your email list is for, is to help you do that and to put yourself out there. Is to share with your friends, share with your acquaintances, share with your family what you have been up to. I still sell about 60 to 70% of my paintings. I still sell to friends and acquaintances. So don't think that they don't want to hear from you. They do want to hear from you, but you have to commit to it. You don't have to commit to 3 emails a week. You don't even have to commit to 3 emails a month, but commit to at least 1 a month so that you can stay relevant and you can stay top of mind to those people, because maybe you send your first email out, November 1st, but somebody's house is not going to be finished until April. Well, imagine if they get an email from you November 1st, and then they get another one December 1st, and then January, and all of a sudden, the trim is going up, and they're starting to get so excited. You have stayed top of mind with them. Who do you think they're going to look at for art first? It's going to be you. So don't sleep on the email list, and don't tell me you don't have a big enough list. Start with 25 people, start with 50 people, added 51, then 52, then 53. That's how it works. That is how I did it. Okay, so I hope that was helpful to you. What I want you to take away most from this is that when you see on social media that a painting has sold and you're like, wow, I posted paintings on social media and, my art isn't selling like that. Well, no, all of our art isn't necessarily selling like that. Sometimes, yeah, but not necessarily all the time. In fact, I'm going to say most of the time it's probably because it's been posted on social media. It's been posted on an email. It's been posted it's just been top of mind. So get out there, put yourself out there. Remember, you're a motherfucking artist. Okay. All right. Until next time, you guys. Oh, by the way, if you can please rate and review this on your favorite podcast platform, that does me a solid. That helps me so much because it lets other artists learn about this information and it just gets us out there like worldwide. All right, until next week, take good care of yourselves and each other. Peace out. Growing an Instagram audience as an artist can feel like an impossible task, especially if we want to turn those followers into actual collectors. So I created Instagram for Artists mini course. It's a 2.5-hour workshop where I teach you the tips that I use to sell art on Instagram, how to create an Instagram feed that gets you followers that turn into collectors, how to maximize your bio, how to create a content strategy that's actually fun, how to know which type of account is best for you, and how to understand the analytics so that you can grow your following quickly. Check out Instagram for Artists at the link in the show notes.